the state of Kansas talks to them all the time about trying to get them to relocate to Kansas. From Kansas City to Kansas.
Because right now they're in Kansas City, Missouri, right? And they call them
I don't know if they would. They might just drop the city and be the Kansas Chiefs.
Welcome back to the Harvard Sports Podcast, episode 29. I'm Austin.
I'm Noah.
I started there for a second, but that's all right. Let's keep it going. I forgot who I was. I blacked out. I just get up and start sprinting out. I can't do this.
All right, no episode this week.
You should cut it when I'm gone and just put him here, and then you voice over it. But so this will be a little shorter one today. But let's talk about it. There's some big things that have happened the last couple of days. One of the bigger ones, the Bills have announced a $1.4 billion stadium. They're moving out. They're staying in Buffalo, but they're deciding to destroy. I think they're making a parking lot now. It's just going to be like right across the street, kind of what the Giants did with their stadium. But it's going to be in the same area. They're going to destroy the old one. It was the fourth oldest stadium in the league, but never went through any of the renovations that the other three did. And the controversial, big conversation thing that's going around is that it's still an open-door stadium.
Yeah, if you were the Bills, not the Bills. Yeah, the Bills.
Yeah, the Bills. Yeah, you're right. You got it.
For some reason, that just didn't feel right coming out. If you were the Bills, would you move it indoors? Or?
Well, I mean, that. There's so many stadiums now when they get renovated are going indoors. But being in Buffalo, that snow is probably one of the biggest home field advantages ever.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because people are saying if you're spending $1.4 billion
make it indoors
on a new stadium, why would you ever not make it a dome? Why would you ever not make it inside? But also, why would you ever give up that home field advantage?
It's the biggest home field advantage
if
ever.
you can teach your players to play well in those conditions, the cold, the snow, then why would you not want that advantage 8 games out of the year?
Exactly. I don't remember if it was in the Patriots Stadium or the Bills Stadium. But remember that game this year when they just didn't throw the ball because it was 60-mile-an-hour winds?
Yeah.
Other teams that are from the West Coast or down south, they're not built like that. They don't play in that type of weather a lot. So that advantage you get in Buffalo and New England over there, that's something that you probably want to keep around.
I think it's just part of the Bills, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just part of – that's the same for a couple teams. If you ever saw – the Packers playing in a dome instead of at Lambeau.
Yeah, that's not that's not who they are.
No, Lombardi would be rolling in his grave if that would happen.
He's not letting that happen.
I mean, I think there's a big advantage if you can practice in certain conditions.
Yeah, because Lambeau's one of the other oldest ones. There's 3 older ones than the current stadium they have. I think it was Lambeau. It was Arrowhead. It was another one. Can't remember, but they all have gone through renovations throughout the years.
Did you see? I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was the Chiefs owner. Somebody from the Chiefs said that the state of Kansas talks to them all the time about wanting to get. I just saw this. Sports Illustrated just put this out today that the state of Kansas talks to them all the time about trying to get them to relocate to Kansas. From Kansas City to Kansas.
Because right now they're in Kansas City, Missouri, right? And they call them
I don't know if they would. They might just drop the city and be the Kansas Chiefs. I also don't know what context he said that in. But I was like, oh, that's a weird thing to just drop out of nowhere. Just the city. Yeah, the state of Kansas talks to us.
Can you imagine the state of Kansas just sliding in your DMs? Come over. Because it's not.
Hey, we like football here.
I don't think it's that far. It's definitely not. It's not that far away, right?
No, the Midwest's all the same.
They're all clumped together.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say why Kansas? Why would you put a football team in Kansas? But also,
why would you put a football team in Missouri?
But at least Kansas doesn't have any pro sports, I don't think. At least Kansas City actually has. You got the Royals.
Yeah, right. I mean, so would the Royals have to move to? No way. Does someone have to move? That'd be so depressing if Missouri's just cheesing with all their teams. Then a split second, one DM sent them all over. It's man, what he texted me was really good. Got back with my ex or something. Why did I say
that? How big of a bag would you have to be offered to go to that feels like a weird relocation. That have to be
that's got to be the weirdest thing.
All right, we're gonna pay for the entire stadium. Maybe.
Because if this stadium, this one's costing $1.4 billion and it's gonna be done in 2026, what would you have to pay just to move 200 miles? What does that bag have to look like? That's got to be. You got to give me $3 billion at least just to move all that.
Well, because I think a big part that goes into those decisions is usually how much the cities or state or county or whatever is willing to subsidize to pay for them to go there. But
exactly, because I think like New York is like helping out with this payment of this one, so it probably depends a lot on how much is the city willing to pay for.
Well, that was like when the Raiders relocated to Vegas, I think the number was like 750 or something that the city of Vegas was going to pay 750 million, which I think was like the most ever for a the most that had ever been subsidized for a stadium. So, so it was like, there's a lot. That was a lot more than Oakland was offering.
Exactly, because that's like 250 grand more than like New York's paying. So that definitely is like, oh, you're willing to pay me this much money to come over? All right, we'll come over. Like, if you're willing to help out the payment, I'll drive to your house. It's like when you go pick up a buddy, like Jonah. Jonah never paid for my gas, but one time he's like, I'll give you $10 if you come drive me over. I was like, all right, you know what? Fine. Just if you're offering me money to come get you, I'll come get you, man. It's just not all negative on my part. He's gonna be so sad that I just told that story. That wasn't just coming to get him out of the goodness of my heart. Wait, so do you think we're gonna see a lot?
It's never given me gas money. It's wild. To paying $6 a gallon out here.
Well, I did have my. He owes me because I had my dead grandma's, God bless her soul, passed away coins in my car one time, and he just looked at them, picked up, started throwing them out the window, and said, "Screw you, man." For no reason, I told him, "This is my grandma's coins, man." He said, "All right," and just started throwing them. That's a real story too, by the way. That's my boy, and now he's in the military protecting our country. What if that just gets him kicked out?
They take that stuff seriously.
Yeah, you can't disrespect Grandma Carr, man.
I'm like thrown off not wearing shoes in here. Every time I have to wear shoes, otherwise I like end up, I'm like popping my toes and stuff in here.
I'm just going like this.
Like if our feet touch and it's shoe to shoe, I can handle that. But if we accidentally touch and it's just straight toe to toe, then I have to leave.
I've briefly looked down before and seen your toes gripping the middle bar. You're locked in for support. When a topic gets real hairy, you go,
sometimes it gets rough. Yeah, when it's a really controversial topic, if you're like, let's talk about Deshaun Watson, like, oh no.
Because would you root for Deshaun Watson if he came to your team? Total grip. But do you think if like we're seeing more and more teams rebuild their stadiums or like not to relocate, but just rebuild their stadiums, do you think we're gonna see more indoors? Like, is that probably the way of the future?
I think so. I mean, when you spend that much money, it's hard to be like, well, let's not. I mean, if you're not, if it's, I'm just talking.
You're just talking. That's all right. That's just what we do, man. Yeah, that's what they like, man.
Unless you're in a unique case like Buffalo or like Lambeau Field,
where like the weather is like part,
where
of
it's like
team.
Kind of part of who you are. I feel like, why would you not? If you're spending all that money,
why would you not put it indoors? Well. That's why one of the things with the Raiders moving, or like even with the thing about just making a new stadium in Oakland, I was like, I know every single person that ever plays in this field hates it, but I low-key like the look of the infield, you know, like the brown dirt. I was like, that's so like just so Raiders, right? I'm gonna make me like paint the grass a little brown so I can remember it.
Yeah, well, I think I mean, outdoor stadiums look really cool too. Like I like outdoor stadiums.
I like the old school like college, just like college stadiums, like open, like the Rose Bowl and stuff. I love going to those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's some like baseball stadiums. There's also more and more that are being built indoors. Baseball still feels weird to me to be played like with a dome on top.
Yeah.
Also, it happens to be a sport where there's more rain delays than football, so it kind of makes sense to have a dome, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's that is fair. I think we're gonna see. Right? Oh, they're gripping. I don't know. I think it's exciting. Always exciting to see like these. I think new stadiums is always cool, unless it's like a one that's like has a lot of history, like Lambeau and stuff. I think when teams make these stadiums, always like, this looks like a spaceship, you know, like Allegiant, like this thing looks insane. Like it's like I love the Coliseum, even though it's like run down. I love how like the history and how retro it is. But then we went to Allegiant, I was like, oh, this is what like this is what nice stadiums look like.
Or if you want to, you could build a stadium that's basically indoors, basically has a roof, but you still have delays for rain and lightning, like SoFi. So.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, it's like, is it indoors?
Yeah, we're like, oh no,
It's
it's
kind
not
of a
quite.
thing that drips over, but it goes right through.
Like, yeah, there's a roof, but there's not like a wall right here. Like, it's sort of
His indoors are just, I don't really know what to tell you, man.
the rain won't get in here unless if the wind's blowing at the right
Yeah,
angle. Then
if
the rain's
lightning goes
getting in.
horizontal, we might be screwed. Okay, well that happened. Talking about the Bills, another thing that happened today that some fans are still like weird about because they don't really think it's a rule change. They think it's kind of lazy. But the NFL's approved an overtime rule change for postseason only. Both teams get the ball now. Both teams get possession. If the score is tied, afterwards it's sudden death. How do you feel?
I think that's a great idea. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's only postseason.
Yeah,
I would make that the case.
I'd make it for the whole thing.
Because, I mean, throughout the regular season, by the time it comes down to week 17, week 18, it feels like every game matters.
Yeah,
so I feel like even if it's a regular season game, not a playoff game, still you want the right person, the right team to win that game.
Because in the beginning of the season, your team loses, you're like, oh, we can handle one loss. But then at the end of the season, sometimes like even us as like Raider fans, we've been in the point where it's like, really wish we beat that team back in week 4. Like then we wouldn't be in this, things have to happen. So I mean, like the more with this rule change, the more that you can have your hands on deciding your fate, the better.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's ridiculous that it took this long, kind of, because for you to play such a highly competitive, close game, that it ends up having to come to overtime, and then the winner being decided. It's not decided by a coin toss, but certainly more than it should be.
Yeah, exactly. The coin toss has a lot of sway.
Especially, sure. I think that's becoming more and more true. Just the way the NFL's trending is that those teams, like if you're in the playoffs, especially, and it's an overtime situation, you're probably a team that's going to be able to score. Like a lot of those times, those games are shootouts.
Just like that Chiefs-Bills game where it's like, we knew like this game's going to come down to wherever the coin toss goes, it's going to be the winner. Like if both teams aren't getting the ball, because both teams have been scoring each other back and forth, it's just going to be whoever gets the coin toss is going to win this game, unless some freak thing finally happens, which we haven't really seen all game. Okay, yeah, so with like overtime, with both teams now getting possession, I saw people talking on Twitter, are we going to see things like, right, if they say if it's tied, it just said it like whoever scores next wins. Are we going to see a team score, the other team score? Do you think we're going to see a lot of, we're going for 2 now to try to win the game? Or do you think we're going to be like, let's kick it back to them and see what happens?
Oh, so you're saying if you're in a situation where the other team gets the ball first, they score a touchdown.
Yeah.
They're up by 7, then you score a touchdown.
Yeah. Are you going to give them the ball back? Or you like kick the field goal? Or are you going to go for 2 to try to end it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that really just depends on
that's your confidence and your
it depends on what you think about your defense. Because
I mean, look at the defense.
Well, also sometimes that can also factor into how much time is left. Because by the time you get 2 drives, there's probably not that much time left in overtime, anyways.
Exactly.
So you might have to go for 2.
And I don't even know like how are these overtimes going to work? Is it going to be the thing where like it just keeps going? Like are there 4 like OT like quarters until finally it's solved? Like what happens after that?
You just still tie.
Not postseason though. Probably is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, you can't time postseason.
That's probably right.
No facts.
What if they're like, oh man, who's going? Oh, we don't really know. We're just gonna see whoever shows up first.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who tied, man? We're just gonna see whoever shows up to the stadium first. They get the win. People always say one of the worst ideas I've seen on Twitter is people be like, "Oh, to stop tanking, let's make the 2 worst teams have a game at the end of the season fighting for the first overall pick." Or you think that's clean? Oh, no. Do you think that's clean?
Practically, no, it's a bad idea, but also it's a great idea.
Well, I get be sick, but
like realistically, no, it's a horrible idea, but also it's a great idea. That'd be so awesome.
Like the parts that I see that it's like have flaws in it. If I'm a quarterback and I'm in those bottom teams and I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna let you draft my replacement with the number 1 pick. I'm about to throw this game, bro. Like that's the only thing I'm like, why am I playing hard for you to replace me right now? That's the only time I can see it going.
I'm also thinking about, so that'd be like a week 19 thing.
Yeah.
The coaching staff is gone by that point.
Oh yeah.
if you're the 32nd or 31st best team in the NFL,
Yeah.
your head coach is probably gone
yeah.
by the time week 18,
We've
week
seen
19
those
rolls
coaches.
around.
Yeah, we've seen those coaches gone hours after the game.
And they know they're going to be gone, so they have no interest in
Oh,
winning
yeah.
that football game. Well, I mean, I guess they do to have a good resume, but
I get what you're saying. It low key would be like, it's kind of sick. What if we see those two trash teams snap and they were tanking? It's just hell. It's just 72-76, something crazy.
if people are actually concerned, I mean, I think if people are saying have the two worst teams play each other to avoid tanking, I think it's just because people, it'd be fun to watch.
I think it'd be fun to watch.
If you actually wanted to avoid tanking, then you would just institute like a lottery system.
Yeah, the lottery system. The NBA has
the first 4 or 5 picks.
I think the NBA has it really good for like the lottery system. That's a great way to stop tanking.
Yeah, MLB is doing that this year too.
Unless you freeze the envelope, then maybe it's controversial.
I mean, yeah, if you cheat, it's controversial.
I think you could tell, because in our fantasy league, we're gonna do a lottery pick like next year. I think you could tell if I was reaching there trying to feel a cold one. You're like, oh, this one's lukewarm. So me and you, I saw tears in my eyes. We both play Madden, right? Play Madden franchise. We have a big Madden franchise, and Madden's doing a thing they do every year called their golden ticket promo. Basically, you pull this golden ticket in a pack. You get to pick one player in the game, and you make him a 99 overall, right? So I wanted, I wanted to know in any sport, any player. Or like retired.
Any sport?
Any sport. You can do whatever you want. What one fan favorite player for you would you make a 99 overall in real life?
Okay, well, you go first. Because I need to think about that.
So I have a couple, okay?
Okay.
I got this.
So you asked me to decide a question that you couldn't even decide is what you're saying. All right. Sweet.
So I have just some of my favorite players. I have Victor Cruz, right? That would have been sick. Imagine his career. I have Tyler Shelvin, skip past that one. I have the entire 2002 Texans offensive line, making it 99 overall. That would have been sick. And one of my favorite players growing up, who sadly passed away in 2019, who I got to watch play for the Giants, Hefty Lefty. Do you know who that man is?
Is he a tackle?
He was a quarterback for the New York Giants for 4 years, a back quarterback, and he weighed 284 pounds.
At quarterback?
At quarterback. And he was...
Quarter? Like throws the ball?
Yes, he threw the ball, and he was the heaviest quarterback to play the game right now. And watching that man and like meeting him was the greatest day of my life. I'm sorry I threw that on you.
I don't know if you're doing that.
I'm sorry I threw that on you. But, dude, like, the promo is so fun because people don't pick, you always see... Because Madden's very, they go, Michael Vick's really good. This guy's really good. This time, the fans get to decide. So you see guys like Nathan Peterman got one a couple years ago. You see fans just be like, here's my favorite dude. He's going to be the GOAT in the game now. And I like it when they switch it up now. So what about you, Matt?
All right. I've got a couple.
Okay, let me hear it.
That have come to mind.
Who would you make a 99 overall in real life?
For one, I would say Tim Tebow.
That's
because
good. That's really good.
His college game was really, really fun to watch.
Uh-huh.
If it translated and worked out a bit better in the NFL, then that'd be really fun to watch.
Oh, he would have been insanely fun to watch. That's a great pick, actually.
Another, for a similar reason, Reggie Bush could be another one.
Oh, that's another great one.
If he was as dominant in the NFL as he was
in college.
I mean, I think his last year at USC, he averaged almost 9 yards a carry or something ridiculous like that. I mean, if he was doing that in the NFL, that'd be nice too.
Oh, yeah.
Basketball.
Oh, here we go.
I've got basketball. I've got Andre Ingram. Do you know who that is? You can go laugh at that name?
No, okay, go back.
Andre, do you know who Andre Ingram is?
No, bro.
He played for the South Bay Lakers.
Okay, that's good.
For a very long time in the G League system. Finally got called up to play in the NBA for the actual Lakers at the age of 30 or something.
Oh, that's cool.
So he was in the G League system for forever. Got pulled up towards the end of I believe it was the season before LeBron came. And man was just straight balling. He was crazy. And then he went back down to the G League the next year. But he was really clean. He had
the best would be if you would have made him a 99 overall when he comes out the G League. So he comes out at 30 and he's the greatest to ever play.
No, that's basically what happened. Yeah. That's why I'll find
Look at him, man. But the man just comes out and just cooking, and now the man's in the GOAT conversation.
All right, so he made his NBA debut at the age of 32. That's when he finally got to play a game.
Professional. Yeah.
Yeah, so he played for the South Bay Lakers, which is the Lakers G League affiliate, for forever. And then he got pulled up to the Los Angeles Lakers in 2018, played 2 games there. His first game, he scored 19 points. He scored 19 points in his first game there. He only played 2 games, and then I think maybe he played a game or 2 later on, but he went back down to the G League.
That's another great. I just would love like all the storylines. I feel like if this guy's just the greatest of all time, like if Hefty Lefty was the greatest of all time, and like we thought of Tom Brady and then a 284-pound quarterback as like the GOAT conversations, and watching that man play would have been beautiful.
I would have said put a 99 on AC Fresh, Alex Caruso, but he's already got one in my heart. I think he realistically plays like a 99 overall, so he doesn't need to get any better.
In real life, he's a 99 overall.
Yeah, whatever his 2K rating is, it's
wrong.
Disrespectful. Whatever it is, it could be 98 and it's disrespectful.
They had to boost that man up.
Come back to LA.
Yeah.
Please.
For some reason, I thought it would have been so funny if you would have taken a drink of water and then done a voiceover of you talking while you're drinking and just throw people off.
I need you to say something super shocking one of these times that I'd take a drink of water so I can spit take all over
Thank
you.
Man. Did you hear about that? Thanks, man. All right, we talked about stadiums earlier, and to end it off, so the Oakland Port rejected the project from the A's to build that big stadium at the waterfront, and it's put in a big delay in the whole thing. And now the Oakland A's president Dave Cavall said in a recent interview that this is like heavily fluctuating things. It's like now it's so stressful. They have to wait for 2 more votes now, and if these 2 votes don't both pass, he said they're looking into moving to Vegas, and they have 5 plots of land they're looking at. I don't really know what we're supposed to talk about that.
They're moving to Vegas.
Yeah,
let me tell you
sure.
something. I'm sorry to all the Oakland boys, but they're moving to Vegas.
I think they're for sure moving to Vegas because
it's not at all a for sure thing, but I just feel like the city of Oakland is just gonna ruin it. Yeah, like the A's staying there. I don't know. The city of Oakland is just so. And when I say city, I don't mean like the city, like the people.
No, it's the government.
The city, as in the actual decision
city
makers
government
who decide. Because
the local government
they're
of
just
Oakland has
not
screwed it. Yeah,
they're just not doing what they could do to keep teams there.
Exactly. Like the Raiders tried so hard, the A's tried so hard. Like the
Warriors.
The Warriors have left. Like that's so many jobs for that area that the government of Oakland is letting leave, and that's going to greatly hurt the community.
I mean, if over the span of just a few years, however many years it is, you see 3 professional sports teams relocate out of the city, then maybe you start thinking, oh, it's not the sports teams, it's our city. We're not valuing them how we potentially could or should.
Because like if one left, you'd be like, okay, maybe that team is just looking for money, right? Like they're all looking for money, obviously. But I'm saying like if you see one team leave, like maybe it's just them. You know, maybe it's like the team's ownership they want to leave, right? They want out of the city. But then you see 2 leave, like, okay, what's going on now? You see now 3 are trying to leave or leaving, and you're like, this is definitely involves this, like the local government in Oakland is like forcing these guys' hand just to get out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, if you have an outdated stadium like the Raiders had, like the A's currently have, then you have to build. There's no way around that. You're gonna have to build a new stadium, and if you're not, like, if the city is not cooperating with you well and communicating that they really want you to be there by giving you money and also a place to build, then Vegas is looking at you, which I assume they're looking at the A's the same way they did with the Raiders. Saying, here, take all this money, come here.
Just like we talked about earlier. It's like, here's this money, come make us money. Like, well, you can come here, you can be right on the strip, right next to the Raiders. You guys were always so, like, the Raiders and A's are always linked, right? Because they were in the same stadium for so long. Come over here, be linked again. Don't share another stadium, please. You know, different stadium, but still, come reunite.
Well, and it'll potentially, if the A's do relocate, then it'll be, 10 years ago, there were 3 professional sports teams in Oakland.
Yep.
And none in Vegas. Now there's 3 in Vegas, none in Oakland.
Which is wild. Yeah, because they have the Knights, the A's potentially, and the Raiders now all in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
Just wait till the Clippers realize that they shouldn't be in LA.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll go to Vegas.
For some reason, like, I don't know why. I think it's just me, but I don't like when teams share stadiums. Like, I'd rather the Jets and the Giants be in different places. It's weird that there's like there's weird. There's 2 teams in LA. It's weird that there's 3 teams in New York, right? Sometimes we forget that the Bills are in New York. I like.
But they're not in the city. They're in the state.
That's true, in the state for New York at least. But or 2 of them in the same city. But yeah, I like moving around is like give fans like who don't have teams more representation, right? So they can root for someone. Because that's usually what happens. A team moves to your city, you're gonna be a fan of that team, you know.
Yeah, it's just tough if you're not. I mean, from the owner's perspective, you want to go somewhere with like a big sports market.
Yeah, a big sports market.
Yeah. And there's very few cities where if you're moving to some random city in the Midwest, potentially you're making less. You have a smaller market. Yeah. They're having that whole state and surrounding states than splitting New York or splitting LA or whatever.
That's why I can see why teams split like the 2 biggest like cities in like the United States and the world, right? Los Angeles and New York. You can split teams there. Those are 2 of the biggest markets for like anything. So that makes sense. It's just hard seeing. It's sad seeing teams who want to stay have to move. You know.
Mm-hmm. Well, there also are. I mean, there still are big cities with big markets that don't have teams.
Yeah.
Like San Diego has no pro sports teams.
Yeah, I would have loved to see. I would have loved to see the Chargers stay there. Like I love the Chargers down there. Even though we're rivals.
In my ideal world, the Chargers are in San Diego. The Clippers are in San Diego.
Yeah.
But I think it's fine with having 2 basketball teams in LA.
Yeah.
One of them just has never been to the finals, and one of them has won more finals than any other team.
Like, how do you feel about
the Celtics don't count?
How do you feel about the 2 baseball teams in LA?
Well, there's not.
They call them the Anaheim Angels. That makes sense.
The Los Angeles, California Angels of Anaheim. I mean, they call themselves the LA Angels. So, yeah I guess they're sort of are. But, I mean, anybody from LA is a Dodgers fan. You're not an Angels fan. If you're from Orange County,
that's why it's hard for me, too. Like, with teams like the Angels and teams like the Clippers, it's like you're trying to share a city with like 2 of the biggest names in sports, like the Lakers and the Dodgers. That's gonna be really hard to grow a fan base when you're like only miles from them.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think to some extent you'd rather be. I would like if I'm the Angels, I would rather be known as. Although I don't know Anaheim is not, people outside of California don't probably really know Anaheim. But I'd rather be the Anaheim Angels and have that to myself than be like the other LA team. Because there's no way that they'll ever be more like iconic and like LA's team than the Dodgers.
The Dodgers and the Lakers are always going to be LA's team. And the Rams are probably, like the Rams in LA makes sense. Rams are a great team in LA. Chargers is always going to be like, I really wish you were back in San Diego. This is really weird they're trying to split a team. Even if I'm like, if I'm the if I'm the Clippers, like I'd much rather be than sharing like this fan base. I'd rather be the Supersonics. Send us over there. Even though I don't think the players would rather move over there than be in LA. Still, man, bring the Supersonics back.
Yeah, I mean Seattle doesn't have a team.
Hey,
Portland doesn't have a football team. I don't know that they.
I don't know if they'll get a football team.
Get one, but yeah, Seattle Supersonics could work. Seattle Clippers.
That'd be better. Yeah, don't bring back the Supersonics. Bring back the Seattle Clippers. Bring the Seattle Clippers into things, man. Real quick, I have one more thing before we end. I saw people on Twitter, and it was on like ESPN stuff, talking about the best uniforms in the NFL. And the Raiders uniforms are being slept on, and I think it was outrageous, because they're for sure the best uniforms in the NFL.
Everything I've seen is either saying Raiders or Chargers powder blue.
The powder blue is really clean.
I mean, I think the Raiders, I'm biased, but I think the Raiders are the best ones. I just think silver and black is a dope color.
And that's the most iconic, I think. And I would also say, if we're doing a top 10 or top 5 best jerseys list, the Raiders color rushes in there. They're all white are very nice.
Well, if we're incorporating alternates, then I
you got some.
Then I think there's a lot of. I mean, I think I like the Bills red ones.
That's very good too.
The Pats have some cool ones.
Yeah, why'd they stop doing color rush? Why was that just a thing they said no more?
I think don't they still have them?
I think they're doing this next year. They're bringing back. You can bring back retro jerseys now.
I think the NFL is just kind of weird about uniforms.
Yeah, they're very weird, like what you wear and stuff.
Roger,
stop.
Mr. Goodell, Mr. Roger, please. All I want is the Raiders in black pants, black shirt,
dude,
black numbers, silver outline, matte black helmet. Is that too much to ask?
What I would do for just black pants on the Raiders, is out of this world. Like, that's all we're asking for. Why? Do you play for the Raiders in our franchise? Do you hate when you have to go to, like, when you're, like, trying to look through the jersey options and it's just, like, the same one forever? Like, all right.
I don't know. I always play as either the normal home ones or Color Rush if I'm on the away team. Sometimes just Color Rush no matter what, and I just eat that.
The Seahawks. What do you think about the Seahawks bright green?
I like the Seahawks, the highlighter color.
Yeah, I like the Seahawks bright green a lot.
I think, people would say it's ugly, but I think it's the Seahawks. Like,
yeah,
that's just them.
I love all the retro ones. Like, the Jets retro ones are sick. Dude, I would wear a retro jersey every week, bro. Like, let's just switch it up. Do you want to see the NFL incorporate city logos? Or city jerseys like the NBA?
I don't know how they would even...
I think a city logo...
I just can't imagine the NFL doing that.
I think a city logo on an NFL jersey would be very weird looking.
I think they could come up with cool ones. Like, they could... It just wouldn't... It would have to be not quite as, like, over the top...
Yeah.
As
the NBA and
like
stuff.
The NBA. But you could do really cool ones.
I think these sick ones. Yeah, I just like retro uniforms and like alternative uniforms. Whenever I see like your team finally wearing one, I'm like, that's sick. Like I like switching it up every now and then. I like throwing back to something crazy, especially when they're like, oh, like when the Rams went to the Super Bowl, like, oh, we're gonna bring back our alternative like old school like helmets. I was like, that's sick.
Are the Commanders ever going to do throwback uniforms?
Okay, so I saw that they have the throwback ones. They just don't have the logos on them.
Oh, interesting. So I don't know what that looks like.
They have
That's
like
pretty similar.
Yeah, they have like red jersey and like tan pants.
Oh, right. The tan pants.
Yeah, and they have like just the red helmet, but they're not putting the logos on them.
Oh, interesting.
The more it happened, or the longer it went on, the more I was like, the Washington football team is kind of a sick name. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of got like used to it.
Yeah, I got used to it, but also I don't know. Like at the beginning, it was like, this is gonna be super weird to have to say football team, Washington football team. Yeah. By then, I kind of liked saying it.
Yeah.
But also, I think it would have been dumb to stick around forever.
I've already been...
Imagine being a team, like if you have been a fan of the NFL for a while.
Yeah.
Then you know the history, you know what happened, and so it makes sense. But if you're like new to watching the sport and you're like, what's this team called? Oh, that's the football team.
That's the football team.
Like, what in the world? Like, what is happening?
I've already switched. Like, I don't accidentally say football team. I'm pretty like, I got the Commanders.
I also think Commanders. I think it's a fine name and I think that they could have named it anything and people would have made fun of it.
Oh yeah.
People would have made fun of it for a couple days and then forgot about it, which is what's happened.
Even the name that I wanted, like the Red Hogs, people would have flamed the Red Hogs for sure. But like,
I mean, absolutely, like anything, you can poke fun at it, but now it's by the end of the year, it'll feel perfectly normal, I think.
Yeah, it'll be clean. I like it a lot.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for watching.
Thank you, everybody.
We appreciate each and every one of you.
All of you. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 3.
You too, Jim.
You too, Jim.
Some random dude that's watching this in his bedroom named Jim is going to watch that.
You too, Jim. Thanks, Noah.
Oh my gosh. How does he know? He's looking at me through my webcam.
Cuts to a guy on his computer just goes...
And your IP address is?
But thank you all so much for watching. Go check us out on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. He's saying don't. He's probably right.
Subscribe. Smash that like button. Drop a couple comments.
Smash it, boys.
All I'm going to say is next episode, Ty will be on.
Yeah, Ty's coming back. We're having Ty DC, mysterious guest voice. Mysterious.
And it's not Mysterio.
And he's not a Raider.
If we get Mysterio on the pod, it's a good thing you said he's not a Raider because every single one of them heard special guest said Devontae.
Yeah, oh, for sure. They said, Devontae. Listen, Derek already said Devontae's going to get on.
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, but that's going to be so sad when we do Devontae.
Hold on tight.
What about Hunter?
No, Hunter needs to come back too, otherwise
he'll be so sad.
I mean, the trio might.
Yeah.
But then D-Wall. We need D-Wall.
We'll just need all of them, I guess.
Let's get
all 52.
All right.
Bye.